Episode 7 of Ahsoka continues to build towards the season finale while giving us a cameo from one of our favorite Star Wars characters. And the music was utilized in some really clever ways for this episode that you may not have even caught. The episode begins with sounds from Morgan Elsbeth's theme, foreshadowing the looming danger. It quickly brightens as we see what I assume is the city planet of Coruscant. Kiner brings back some of the earlier New Republic music for this moment, but the low rumbles also return as influences of the Imperial remnants can clearly be seen in the courtroom as Hera argues with Senator Siona.
This is a government, and it has rules and laws which General Syndulla seems to have no problem.
The music cuts off abruptly though as she shows her lack of care for the proceedings. The trial remains without music to showcase its dryness until our favorite protocol droid, C-3PO, arrives. After a short harp cue to grab our attention, we first hear a version of Ahsoka's theme, bringing hope to the scene.
I do not need to show you identification.
After this though, we hear Luke's theme, which I thought was a bit strange, but I also understand.
Welcome. But why are you here?
Honored Chancellor, with respect.
See, even after being the only characters in every Skywalker saga movie, the themes of C-3PO and R2-D2 are not well known and wouldn't have grabbed everyone's attention. Kiner has used it before though in Rebels.
Fluent in over 6 million ports. And do take good care of yourself.
However, by using Luke's theme, Kiner can immediately reference the original trilogy and the Old Guard movies in general, where we know this golden droid from. However, it takes away from this theme actually being for Luke because he really has nothing to do with this scene. After all, he's not present, and as it turns out, Leia sent 3PO, not Luke. So if anything, her theme should be playing. Now, with that said, it does sound like a very faint version of the droid's theme comes through after Luke's theme in the flutes.
And do take good care of yourself. May I speak?
By all means.
Thank you.
As the trial is put to rest, the New Republic theme returns, showing that good triumphed once again. Afterwards, Hera's theme comes through as she breathes a sigh of relief.
Captain Taylor.
General Syndulla.
As Hera says prepare for the worst, a low drone enters, and as she says hope for the best, Ahsoka's flute comes in, highlighting the two sides.
And hope for the best.
Ahsoka's theme is strong and persistent in the title card this time, as she is about to arrive to save Ezra and Sabine. As Ahsoka goes through her training routine with Anakin, the music remains calm as this becomes meditative for her. It disappears along with the hollow projection of her former master, and as she says he was a good master and looks back fondly on him, Anakin's theme comes through in a heartwarming rendition in the strings, adding to the touching moment for Ahsoka.
He was a good master.
The music picks up as Ahsoka and Huyang leave hyperspace into an Imperial minefield. Ahsoka's theme comes through as she navigates the explosive trap. An augmented version that only highlights certain notes takes over from there as the anticipation of clearing the minefield continues.
We are almost through.
Attacks in the brass move us through the ensuing ship chase. It's juxtaposed by the low and calm drones as we see Thrawn plan for Ahsoka. As they find a place to hide within the Purgle graveyard, the music finally calms down for them, but now takes on an eerie feel. This is then juxtaposed by the brighter music as we see Ezra, Sabine, and the Turtle Hobbits. The music for the Turtle Hobbits returns first. It remains as underscoring as Ezra and Sabine continue to talk.
I'm still trying to process everything you told me.
Sabine's theme comes through in the trumpet as she tells Ezra that she became Ahsoka's apprentice.
I mean,
Ahsoka took me on as her apprentice.
she what? Why? I mean,
But as Ezra asks about Ahsoka, the horn takes up her theme.
that's complicated?
As Balin arrives atop the hill in the next scene, his theme comes through in a synth. I want to point out how since we arrived in this distant galaxy, a lot of the themes for Morgan and Balin have become distorted through synths, and it really showcases how these outsiders are not in a place they're familiar with. They are now the outsiders. Morgan's theme again becomes used for the Great Mothers. I still feel that this is Morgan's theme, but Kiner has now adapted it to represent the Dathomirian witches as a whole. It shows that Morgan really stopped being important once she arrived on this planet, and that she's simply been acting as a pawn for everyone else this entire time. Now, they've stolen her theme and importance as she simply stands by. As Ahsoka attempts to communicate with Sabine, the strings enter in drones. The music actually begins to cover up Ezra's voice here, and normally that's a bad thing, but here, the music is representing the force and presence of Ahsoka that is actually distracting Sabine in the moment. She can still hear Ezra, but now it's like someone is also playing a radio near her, drawing her attention elsewhere and clouding what Ezra is saying.
Hasn't been all bad. Obviously, I made a few.
But the Night Mothers hear the radio broadcast as well and are able to locate Ahsoka.
Jedi is there.
As Sabine talks about the connection she just had, Kiner does something really clever. He first scores Ahsoka's theme very clear and in the foreground, but then a short excerpt from Across the Stars comes in, faintly and in the distance.
I don't know. Feeling.
What kind?
This perfectly represents what Sabine experienced. Ahsoka felt near to her while being far away and across the stars. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it's these subtle little things that set Kiner apart from everyone else scoring Star Wars music right now.
I don't know. Feeling.
What kind?
The brass attacks return as Ahsoka's ship comes under fire. As we see Balin and Shin again, his theme returns. The choir music enters next with Shin's theme. It's been hard until now to actually tell these apart, but the descending half step followed by a leap up of a perfect fourth before returning to the first note is Shin's theme. Interestingly, Shin's theme actually is set in major instead of the characteristic minor that we normally see for villains, and I wonder if this is foreshadowing an eventual turn for her character.
Impatience for victory will guarantee defeat.
Kiner keeps the music pulsating forward throughout the ensuing chase, never letting it settle until we see Ahsoka. Her theme comes through rather calmly in that moment, setting her apart from everyone on the ground. As she runs into Balin, Kiner brings in the war horn calls that he's been using throughout the series. Ahsoka's flute responds. The iconic taiko drums pick up next, so that must mean a lightsaber battle is about to begin. The music is much lighter as we return to Ezra and Sabine. The rapid repetition of notes gives the scene tension, but the major tonality allows the dialogue of these two old friends to remain comical in true Star Wars fashion. And this is totally the Star Wars version of Hold My Beer for Ezra right here.
Here. Do your thing.
What thing?
At least take a blaster.
No. The Force is my ally. That's all I need.
The taiko drumming returns for what is one of my favorite lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars. The choreography in this show has been incredible and easily surpasses anything from the sequel trilogy, which kind of makes sense. These are Jedi trained during the end of the Republic era. They were trained and focused, not simply found somewhere and quickly given a lightsaber and told to just trust in the Force. As Balin grabs Ahsoka's hand almost without care, the music stops and his theme comes through in that completely acoustic piano. It's haunting after everything else we've been hearing, just like it was in Episode 1. And there was a brief moment here where I thought he was going to kill Ahsoka, which was the goal of the music. It surprised us and caught us off guard enough to worry. But Huyang saves the day as the brass return. As Balin feels himself pulled in a different direction, his theme returns. adding one more step this time to demonstrate further resolve in this character. As the stormtroopers approach, the snare drum calls them into action. I was really hoping for some Imperial march or something Imperial here, so it was a bit of a letdown, but I suppose at this point it isn't really the Empire anymore. Perhaps Kiner will adapt a new theme for them eventually. It will be interesting to see what happens in future shows for the Imperial Remnant. As Thrawn accepts his loss and demonstrates his ability to play the long game, his theme comes through in the organ. Thrawn has learned that he can't actually defeat Jedi. All he's focused on is making them spend and waste as much time as possible, distracting them, setting up obstacles designed to bend and eventually break.
Time is very much on our side now, and I should keep it that way.
Ahsoka's theme returns kindly and warmly in the flute as she looks at Sabine, showing her forgiveness for Sabine. For some reason, Hera's theme plays as Huyang arrives with the ship.
Guys.
This one was a bit strange for me since she's not even in this galaxy or even mentioned here, but sure, if that's how you want to end this episode, you go right ahead, Kevin Kiner, you've earned it. But I'm also curious what all of you think. Am I the last one to realize Shin's theme in everything else going on? What do you think of Thrawn's tactics? And what exactly do you think Baylan will eventually discover? What do you think about seeing C-3PO? And what did you think of Luke's theme being used for his arrival? Tell me in the comments below what you think, and consider checking out my Patreon page using the link in the description, where you can help support this channel for as little as $1 a month, or download PDFs and MP3s of projects as I complete them, along with other perks at higher tiers. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of a galaxy far, far away, and as always, may the be with you.